Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this sunny California afternoon. My name is Rachel Sanchez, she, her pronouns. I am the interim director of New Student and Family Programs. I'm really excited about this virtual information session today. We are hosting our wonderful partners from our advising centers, from academic affairs, to talk to us a little bit about dual enrollment and bringing college credit with you when you start here at the beach. So it's definitely a hot button topic, and our presenter Colleen today is going to share a bunch of information with you. So I am really excited about that. We're going to wait about 1 minute to get started so we can make sure we're capturing everybody who's trying to enter the Zoom right now. We have a little over 100 folks with us already, so that's great. Um, you will have an opportunity to ask questions throughout the presentation. Just as a heads up, we will not be monitoring the chat. So the only way you will be able to answer or ask questions is through the Q&A box. So we'll go over that a little bit once we get started. But that is really important to remember, that we will be utilizing the Q&A feature exclusively. Also, just as a friendly reminder to everyone joining us here today, this is being recorded. It's going to be shared. It's a public forum. So kind of refraining from sharing personal details in your questions is always a good idea. You don't want to disclose any, identifying or personal information that you wouldn't want a stranger, at the grocery store to hear, for example. So it is about 4:02 already. And so I am going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. There we go. Um, like I said, I'm the interim director for New Student and Family Programs. Our department oversees SOAR, so student orientation, advising, and registration. We also oversee parent and family programming. So if you are a parent on the line today, you'll be able to join us for parent and family orientation this summer. So just hopefully everyone on this call knows that SOAR is a university-wide program that is mandatory of every incoming student, both first-time, first year, and transfers. Parent orientation is absolutely optional, but a wonderful idea for you if you would like to join your student. They do run on the exact same days concurrently, but PFO is only half day and it's optional and it is a separate registration. So when I send this recording, I'll also send information on how to go ahead and get signed up for PFO. We also oversee first year programs. We have a peer-to-peer texting assistance program that we run throughout the year. So just checking in with your student, making sure they feel supported and happy to be here. And then just general year-round student support really comes out of our office, making sure that folks are transitioning successfully. Like I mentioned, today we are going to be using the Q&A feature in our webinar. So essentially, if you don't see the little Q&A, I think it looks like a question mark now instead of this little chat thing. Just a heads up, but Zoom changed it. Oops, sorry. And you can type your questions into the box, and the folks joining us today will answer as many as possible. But if you put them in the chat, we will miss them. So I am going to introduce Colleen Maldonado. She's going to introduce herself and talk a little bit about their program today. Oops, Colleen, you're on mute.
I'm so glad to be here today. I'm going to go ahead and bring my slides up real quick. I am Dr. Colleen Maldonado. I'm the Director for Educational Partnerships. I also coordinate the Young Scholars Dual Enrollment Program here at Cal State Long Beach for high school students. It takes it's a very small program compared to community college. My background is in community college, so I have a very long history of working with dual enrollment students in the community college system. So I have worked with high schools for many years on working on these programs where your students are taking classes, whether they've been taking the classes at their high school, possibly as part of a career pathway program, or whether or not you took those classes on your own at a community college or even at a university. Students worked incredibly hard to earn these credits, and with the hope that they will bring them to the university and to college, and it's going to benefit them in many different ways, which it does, which is very exciting. And I know that there's a lot of work has gone into this. I do want to kind of emphasize, Rachel had mentioned, we're going to stay away from questions that are very student specific situations because every student is different. And we really want you to be able to talk to your advisors at SOAR this summer once your transcripts are in and they have that complete information. So I'm providing some basic information about dual enrollment and how credits are used and things you can do to prepare for SOAR and everything. But I'm going to stay away from really like individual um, questions that could be better answered. Although we do have advisors here to kind of help us with some of the general questions, regardless of which college your student is entering in. So I'm going to share a little bit today about the trends and growth about dual enrollment here at Cal State Long Beach. We'll talk about the importance of academic advising, particularly for students with dual enrollment credits. The importance of preparing for SOAR, again, because you're coming in with college credits, if you're a first year freshman, that really does change how advisors provide recommendations for courses and things. So it's important to be prepared for SOAR. We'll touch on some of the policies on campus that relate to dual enrollment credits. And then really just kind of talk about some of the next steps and resources that are available for you to get ready, for this upcoming semester in the fall. So, as many of you know, particularly for our first year freshmen, the benefits of having taken college classes early on really means that you are an experienced college student, as compared to some of your peers who may have be coming to the university having never taken any college credits. You've already gotten experience understanding what's the level of work and rigor that goes into that class, how to manage your time, hopefully, your study skills. As a college class really is a different level than just your typical high school classes were. So that's a great benefit and an advantage for you. Also, provided that the class is articulated, which just means that Cal State Long Beach has an agreement with the community college that you took the classes through that says that that class is equivalent to a class at Cal State Long Beach. Many of your classes could be applied towards general education requirements or possibly some of our major specific degree requirements that can help you take care of some of the requirements for your intended major and move through your program sooner, save money, provide some time for you in your schedule because you've taken care of some of your coursework early on to do things like internships and studying abroad, possibly look at things like a double major or a minor. It really gives you a lot of additional opportunities because you've put in work ahead of time to kind of get a head start. Here at Cal State Long Beach, we've seen a huge growth in dual enrollment, just like colleges across the state. Dual enrollment is very, very popular right now in the high schools. This is coming in all kinds of forms, and we're seeing that about 58% of all of our students last fall had dual enrollment credits when they entered the university. And that for us was about a 93% increase over 5 years in the number of dual enrollment students who are coming into the university with college credits. In particular, though, what we've seen is a huge growth in the number of students, not a huge growth, but a growth in the number of students coming with more than 60 units. And now, because there are more early college programs in the high schools that help students to even achieve an associate's degree by the time they get to their high school graduation. We have students entering in with more than 60 units, having already completed an associate's degree, even though they've just graduated from high school. And that really does change things up because as a freshman, you are a freshman status, but you're really coming in almost like a transfer student. So we've seen a huge growth in that. And because students are coming in with more and more dual enrollment credits ahead, your academic advising is going to be even more important because, like I said, each case will be different, right? The number of units that you took, the courses that you took, what they can apply to at the university will be different for each student individually. So it's incredibly important that you take advantage of academic advising and not just this summer when it's required through SOAR, where you meet with an advisor and get your first semester recommendations for courses, but also throughout your college journey that's going to help really take advantage of the credits that you've earned and help you to that. So to talk a little bit about how advising happens at the university. Like we said, SOAR is all of academic advising for new incoming students, first-time freshmen and transfer students is going to happen at SOAR this summer. So while you may have lots of questions and maybe even some anxiety and want to have somebody answer different questions about what you've done up to this date and stuff, I really encourage you to relax. Make sure you've registered for SOAR, get prepared for SOAR, and then talk to the academic advisor there. Because by that time, your transcripts will have been posted. You'll have submitted transcripts. Your academic advisor will actually have had a chance to review those transcripts, hopefully before SOAR. And so your conversation with the advisor is going to be much more detailed and more comprehensive than if you tried to start calling all of the academic advising centers now. They really wouldn't be able to give you the same level of advising. So, encouraging students to wait for SOAR. But once your semester has started, please continue to stay in contact with your college advising centers. Every college has their own center. Also, students who are undeclared use the UCUA, so the University Center for Undergraduate Advising. If you're a transfer center, your major may have your own undergraduate advisor for that major. So advising happens in many different places across the university. And particularly very important if you've got a lot of dual enrollment or AP or IB credits. And like I said, continue to stay in contact as that's going to help you move through in a really much less stressful way. If you're talking to your advisor regularly and making sure you're choosing the right courses and things, and it's going to make your life feel much more comfortable, and you really will make great progress. How do you prepare for SOAR for academic advising for your first academic advising session? Turn in your community college transcripts as soon as possible. You have to wait until your grades are posted, so don't do it now. Don't request those transcripts now. But you're going to want to contact your community college online and request those online transcripts to be sent to Cal State Long Beach and do it before the July 15th deadline. The reason why I'm really encouraging you to submit those transcripts early is because it gives time for academic advisors to actually review the coursework that you've taken. And if you wait until the last minute, they may not get a chance to see that before you come in for your SOAR advising session. Also, a lot of students that are coming out of high school, their dual enrollment classes may be listed on your high school transcripts, but you still need to turn in a community college official transcripts. So some students are coming out of high school, don't realize they need to turn in two different transcripts. So make sure that you make that request once the semester has ended and your classes have posted. If you've already taken these courses and they're done, you're not taking any of this semester, then you'll be able to turn in those transcripts. I will suggest that right now that you can go back to your community college if you have access to your community college dashboard, or even if you wanted to request to see unofficial transcripts, take a look at them. Having been at the community college system, there were many times that we would have dual enrollment students come in a panic. They had never ever even looked at their transcripts to see whether the classes were correct on the transcript. And then they would, at the very last minute, often right before the deadline, be in a total panic because they would notice that a grade was incorrect or a class was missing. So make sure you take a look at your community college transcripts to make sure that they're accurate before you need to submit them. The other thing, just a great recommendation would be to bring unofficial copies of your transcripts with you when you go to SOAR. It makes things much quicker and easier. The advisors are going to be talking to a lot of students that day, hundreds of students and everything. If you have unofficial copies, either printed or you've taken photos of those, that it's something you can show. And when somebody asks you a question about a specific course, you're not trying to just remember it, off the top of your head. You've actually got something to look at. So we find that that really helps students when they're at SOAR. The other thing that's incredibly important, and I really can't stress this enough, is to fill out the advising questionnaire. It's often referred to as the advising survey. Do this early. This is your opportunity to self-report those classes that you've taken, including your AP and your IB credits, dual enrollment credits, any classes that are in progress right now. And the advisors use these questionnaires, the information that you provide them to help prepare a semester plan for you before SOAR. So again, just like turning in transcripts early, you really want to make sure that you fill it out completely, and that you get it in as soon as possible so that they have the time to review it carefully and then come up with a first semester course recommendations for you. You're going to receive this in your email directly from the advising center that you're assigned to. So be sure that you've signed up for your MyCSULB, you have your email set up, and that you're checking your email regularly. This is just a good practice between now and throughout your college thing, but particularly right now when there are things being sent to you, requests for information or things you need to fill out, like the questionnaire. You do not want to miss something just because you haven't been checking your CSULB email. So not your personal email, but your CSULB email. To get in the habit of doing that. Also, in terms of what kinds of policies there are on campus, things that, dual enrollment credits, how these credits get applied and things. One thing, this class does need to be articulated. So like I said, this is just on assist.org is the website that counselors use across the state. And on that website, you can indicate the community college that you took the course at, and then select Cal State Long Beach, and you'll be able to find out if that class actually is articulated, meaning that it's equivalent to a class that we have and that we can take those credits. So you may have taken a class, and if it is not showing up on assist.org as articulated, then it wouldn't be eligible for credit for another class that's here. And so sometimes it's really good to know that. Students are, anxious to know whether or not the class is going to count for something. Cal State Long Beach treats your credits like transfer credits. So different universities have different policies about dual enrollment credits and everything. For us, they're treated just the same way that a transfer student comes in. So if the class is articulated and it counts for a general education requirement, then credit is given for that. If it's a class that can be used to fulfill a prerequisite thing. So, your classes, as long as they are equivalent and they are relevant to your degree program and everything, or to a general education requirement, then you should be able to get some benefit out of those courses. Also, and hopefully your high school reminded of you this, frequently. The grades that you got in your dual enrollment classes is your college GPA. Those were college classes, and regardless of the grade that you got in those courses, that's the GPA you have right now. So you're already starting Cal State Long Beach and you already have a college GPA, and it's what you earned in those classes. So it's important to know sometimes folks are like, but I took that in high school. It's like, no, but it was a college class that you took. Another thing that we have here at Cal State Long Beach that's different than some other universities is we're a highly impacted university. We have timely graduation policies that are meant to help students graduate on time and really make progress towards their degrees. And there are different policies within that come in under that. And one of the ones that relates with is students must select their major by 60 units. But we are waiving up to 30 units of dual enrollment. Units are exempt from that. So that gives students a little more time in terms of this particular policy. And then the units that you did take under dual enrollment college credits, they are applied towards your degree. I have seen some instances where students come in like with 60 units of dual enrollment credits and AP and IB, right? And they have already a typical degree that is non-STEM at Cal State Long Beach is about 120 units, right? But they come in with 60 units. And possibly, let's say, in my local area, we have an early college program where students can get an associate's transfer degree in hospitality management. But maybe that's not the major they really wanted to do, and they got accepted into Cal State Long Beach as a psychology major, right? But they have a whole lot of units already accumulated. So it's good to know that, yes, those units, they are applied towards timely graduation, but sometimes you may have to do some extra paperwork or anything like that because you still have to complete the 120 that you have. Some recommendations are just kind of a recap of some of the things that we've talked about here. Do make sure you've signed up for SOAR, before the June 1st deadline. Get everything set up, your email, your MyCSULB Student Center. You've downloaded the Beach Connect app because communication is going to be key at this point as you get ready, as you wait for SWOR to start and everything. Be checking your email for the advising questionnaire for when that comes and then fill that out right away. Take a look at your community college transcripts, and possibly some of you may have been taking courses at multiple community colleges, or perhaps you took a class at Cal State Long Beach too. You want to take a look at those transcripts so they can make sure that they're correct and they're accurate. Once grades have posted, if you're taking classes right now for dual enrollment credit, then wait until semester is ended and the grades have posted, and then put a request online at your community college to have your official transcripts sent to Cal State Long Beach. Once you get the advising questionnaire via your CSULB email, fill it out right away, make sure it's complete. Continue checking email, and at SOAR, bring a copy of your transcripts with you to make it easier to answer questions and to discuss which courses are going to be appropriate for you. There are resources online for newly admitted students. So this is one of a really great web page on our website. So you can always just put in the search newly admitted students. And this is going to give you kind of the next steps, things that you can be doing between now and SOAR to make sure you've got your everything's ready, questions you might have about financial aid and other things. There are links here for that too on this website. So this was just some really basic overview of how your dual enrollment credits might impact you in different types of things. Really wanted to emphasize coming prepared for SOAR because it's where you'll meet with your academic advisor, making sure you turn in transcripts early. If you have AP credit, making sure you contact College Board and you have that information sent to us also early. Filling the advising questionnaire early again, it just gives time for your advisors to have the chance to look at your records and really come up with a good plan for you that's going to help you reach your goals. So that's the information that I have today. We are going to take a look at the Q&A to see some of the questions that may have come in and whether or not there's some questions that might be general for the group. We can take those live. So I'm going to stop sharing, Rachel.
There we go. Thanks, Colleen. So just as a reminder for folks, we are going to answer questions from the Q&A live here. I think I will get started because there was a question that came in that I think is on a lot of people's mind, Colleen, which is if you are registering for classes at SOAR and you have a date later in the summer, does that impact class availability? If one of yourself or maybe one of the advisors wants to jump in and answer that, I know that's a question we get a lot.
If your date for SOAR is later in the semester, I'm going to let one of the advisors pop in that. You probably get that all the time.
I can answer that question. So most of the colleges do reserve specific sections of classes. So there is going to be class availability for our students. I think maybe one of the other advisors also answered in the chat that we do work diligently to ensure that you do have a full-time schedule if that's what you're aiming for. So yes, there will be class availability, but we do ask that you be maybe a little bit flexible, just depending on what is available when you do come to SOAR. But I can definitely assure you there will be classes.
Thanks, Vanessa. Um, what about the Beach Connect app, Colleen? Is that for parents or do students download it? And what is it used for?
I believe it's for students, right? This is your communication from the college and allows you to access your MyCSULB information. So very get that get that done right away. You can go online. It has instructions on how to download that app on that newly admitted student's website.
Great. George, did you want to add something to that?
No, once this question's wrapped up, I did have one question from the chat that I wanted us to be able to answer live because it was one that was, I think, broadly applicable.
Perfect. Yeah, and we will talk about the Beach Connect app at SOAR, the importance of it. We'll encourage everyone to download it and kind of note that there is a lot of functionality in there in terms of communicating with your advising center. So thank you for that. Go ahead, George.
So the question that we had in the chat that I marked for live answer was if I'm an incoming first-time first-year student, am I allowed to take community college courses the summer after I graduate high school?
In
And I,
terms,
I sorry, go ahead, Colleen.
I don't know. Gina, do you want to help me with this question? I want to make sure I don't answer this incorrectly or
Yeah,
anything. I know.
yeah, absolutely. And the answer is yes, through the admissions perspective, a student can take summer college courses, and that is okay. It will not negatively impact their admissions here to the university.
Will those classes count once they start in the fall, as long as they turn in a transcript, a complete transcript, Gina?
Yes, right. And that's usually when it's kind of a timing issue, right? Students
Yeah.
are trying to wrap up those summer classes, but they are butting into right when SOAR is happening. And so the important part for all students, of course, is yeah, as soon as the grades are posted, you'll want to submit those official transcripts so that you can get the proper credit for it. Might be a little tricky, right? Like I said, because it is in the summer, but as soon as you get it, yes, please submit them and it won't impact your admission.
Great.
Thank you, Gina. And I wanted to bring attention to something that was added by our guest from the College of the Arts. She also added that the student may be interested in connecting with an advisor just to ensure that the course they're selecting is applicable to their requirements. Now, that's likely specific to the College of the Arts, so I don't want to speak for the rest of the colleges, but that may be a good idea to get some input either from your high school counselor currently or an advisor that you may have access to at the community college or here at CSULB. Just get some additional support as you're making those decisions.
And while I know the advising centers are really busy right now, we're actually wrapping up our semester with finals coming up and things like that. You do have dual enrollment counselors at the
Mhm.
community colleges. Almost all community colleges now have dual enrollment specialty counselors, which is really good. I think that a community college counselor is going to have good information too, but it may not be specific to your major. So, so yeah, as far as choosing classes for the summer and stuff.
Great. There were quite a few questions about when students will receive the advising survey. I don't know if Vanessa or Amir or someone else on the call wants to answer. When does that traditionally go out, the link for the advising survey?
So yeah, I've answered a couple of questions about that. It is coming soon. Typically, each of the colleges would be sending that out to their students. So it just depends. But I would say within the next few coming weeks that that should be available, and students should be completing that at least 5 days before their SOAR date, so that we as advisors have enough time to review their information and make sure we know what they have taken, especially for those students who have like more than 40 or 50 units of dual enrollment credit. It does take us time to review that, especially if it's not in, the system and you're just self-reporting. If you can submit it as soon as possible so that it will not delay your time on your SOAR date when we get to the advising portion. So just be on the lookout in your email for that to come within the next coming weeks.
Were there any other questions you wanted to have answered live, George?
I am seeing a couple of questions coming in about Alex and math placement. I was wondering if we could maybe give Caesar's fingers a rest and let him answer that live,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
if you're up for it, Caesar.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Caesar. I'm one of the advisors for the College of Natural Sciences. So this is going to be pretty similar to most majors that require calculus courses. So like engineering students, they would apply. But generally speaking, if you do not have either dual enrollment or AP credit in calculus, and again, not that you've taken the course, because it's a different thing that, hey, I took calculus, but I never took the AP's exam. If you do not have a score from either AP or some type of dual enrollment credit, then you would want to take the Math Alex. Otherwise, you would be taking sort of a review course, basically a review of that type of math, whether that's pre-calculus algebra, the trig. And again, this would apply to science, math, engineering students, as well as some nursing students, and maybe some in the College of Health and Human Services. So this exam is free for students, so there's no cost. So I say if you're sort of on the fence, do I need to take it? Should I take it? Take it. Better to save yourself that sort of stress and headache than to be like, hey, I thought I got a 3, but I got a 2, and that doesn't give me the credit. And now I have to do a pre-calculus course when I took this in high school. So our advice is if you're still unsure, just take the Math Alex. It's going to be available to all students. So it's going to determine their math placement. So go ahead and take it unless you've like explicitly see, hey, I've taken AP credit or I have a dual enrollment course that gives me specifically a calculus credit in my math. So I'd say take it. It can't hurt. It's not too intensive of a sort of like a program. So I think the general guideline should be all students should aim to take.
Great. Mara wants to know, can they send their SAT score to receive appropriate placement?
Yeah. So SAT also does give them placement. Just because a lot of students haven't taken it recently. but it is something that we do also do for their math placement. So SAT, IB credits, bunch of different credits. So definitely want to check with that specific advising center to see what we take, but SAT, dual enrollments, AP, IB, CLEP, things like that. So there's different ways to get that math placement, but I always say take the math, Alex. You're still sort of on the fence of where you were going to place.
Can I add something
I
to
was
that too? Just because, I am in the College of Liberal Arts, and so some of our majors, they do not require the math ALEX. If you're an economics BS major, economics with an option in math, econ, and environmental science and policy, then yes, I would recommend that you take the math ALEX if you do not have a score of 3 on AP Calc or any of those AP Calc exams. But for the rest of our majors, you don't necessarily need to take the math ALEX. So I would say it just varies on what your major is. Like if you're in STEM, yeah, you probably should be. But for like College of Liberal Arts, besides like those three majors that I listed, you don't necessarily need to take the math ALEX.
Thank you for adding that, Vanessa. May I ask for a clarification? How can a student know for certain whether or not their major will want them or invite them to do Alex? Are all students invited or are only students invited who need to do it? And how are those students notified?
I think, Caesar, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the College of Natural Science Math and College of Engineering, they send out notification to their students that they should be taking the Math ALEX. So our environmental science and policy students should also receive that notification. And then we are also planning to send out notifications to those or emails to those students who should be taking the ALEX that they should take it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's correct. At least
in
for student SM, we do send out information like, hey, you want to take the math, Alex, if you're unsure of what your placement is, because everyone's going to come in with different placement. So we do tell students, hey, if you're unsure where you're going to place, and again, I want to emphasize having simply taken the class, like I took calculus one, I took calculus two, does not give them placement into these calculus courses and things like that. So they have to have that credit, and we do reach out to the students in their emails, letting them know, hey, complete the survey, complete the Alex if it's something that applies to you. And I also saw something here in the chat, or the Q&A about the AP pre-calc. That's also something that's going to give you placement. So that is one of the newer AP exams that students are eligible to take, that they can also get that placement in a calculus course. So that is something that if you took AP pre-calc, that is something that will give you placement, assuming you get like a 3 or higher.
can I piggyback on that from the exploring majors perspective? And I hope I'm not opening a can of worms by saying this, but if you're not sure about your major, and if you are coming in as undeclared, because we're accepting some of you as undeclared, we strongly encourage you to do the math, Alex, because you might decide a year from now that you do want to go into STEM, and it would be to your benefit to have the math, Alex, done. So my advice is if you're not sure and you're not sure about your major, then definitely take the math, Alex, even if you're going to like liberal arts or health sciences, because it's only going to help you a year from now. Future you will thank you. So I would definitely encourage that from the exploring majors and potentially changing majors perspective.
Awesome. I
Great.
did highlight one more question, Rachel, unless you
Oh,
had.
go for it. No, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Keep going.
Great. So there was a question whether there is an online resource for determining which AP courses qualify for which college credit. And so Kirsten helpfully added a link, but I just wanted to bring attention to that. And so if you I don't know if everyone has access to the answered questions, but another way to find the link is just to Google CSULB AP exam credit, and you'll find the chart that has the list of AP exam, the scores, and then what units will be assigned based on your score.
Yeah, actually, Kristen, if you can go ahead and put that link in the chat, then everyone will be able to see it.
Oh,
I think
perfect.
people should be able to see the answered questions, but just in case, um, as a co-host, you'll be able to put that content into the chat. And I can also include it with the recording when this gets sent out to everyone tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. And I'm silly me, I could have done that.
Oh,
But
that's okay. No, I think that's great.
yeah.
I think there's been a few questions that have been answered by advisors, but I want to reiterate, a lot of folks want to know, when will students slash my child be able to register for classes? So just to reiterate, class registration, selecting your classes for fall 2026 is linked directly to your SOAR date. So if you are a first-time first-year student, you will register for classes with your academic advising center on your actual SOAR date. So you'll be here with us all day here at Cal State Long Beach in person. You will hang out with our orientation team in the morning. That's myself and our wonderful team of students. We'll take great care of you. And then we will hand deliver you to your advising center after lunch. And then they will take great care of you, give you a little overview about your college and the resources that are available, as well as get you registered for classes. So if you're a first-time first-year student, which is our word for freshman, you'll register on your actual SOAR date. If you are in this session and you happen to be a transfer, you register the next business day at 9 a.m. So pretty close, but not on the exact same day. And that information can all be found both on our page as a general overview, and if you navigate to your college, all of them will also have information about that as well. I'm going to keep going on how to register for SOAR. So uh, we do SOAR registration is through your student portal. So you should be able to sign on through what we call single sign-on, your SSO. You'll hear that a lot once you come here. Everything lives in your SSO. So SSO is short for single sign-on. And in that single sign-on that you access with your student email and password, you will navigate to the My CSULB tile. And then in the admission section, there is a portion that says sign up for SOAR. It's very clear. If you need help on the SOAR website, which I can drop in the chat in a minute, we have a little SOAR survival guide, and at the very top of that SOAR survival guide is how to register for SOAR. So how to select your SOAR date if you're a first-time first year or if you are a transfer. They're both very, very similar, and the actual like navigation of where to go in your SSO is the same. So and SOAR is the day of orientation. So SOAR stands for Student Orientation, Advising, and Registration. So it is an acronym for all the things. Does somebody want to talk about honors, and will students be given an honors advisor at SOAR? Do you want to take that one, Amir? I don't know.
Sure. So for our students, the honors office will give us course recommendations that we can share with our incoming exploring and undeclared students. So we'll be using their info at SOAR to kind of help plan your classes. Um, but you'll be meeting with them, I believe, after SOAR, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll be meeting with your SOAR, your honors advisors within the semester after the summer. But for the most part, your advising centers should be able to help you pick honors classes that very first semester.
Yeah, so yeah, that's correct. Honors doesn't have a presence in that same way that the advising centers do at SOAR, but they work directly with the advising centers, and the advising centers of what your college falls under um, will help you out. Great. Any other questions for in person, George, that you're seeing that would apply to either dual enrollment or everyone?
Yeah, I'm seeing, I think, a couple more follow-on questions for honors. Is it invitation only, or do students need to apply? When will they be notified if they've been accepted?
Students can apply. We have an honors website. Yeah, I would encourage you all to check it out. I'll try and drop it in the link
I'll
or
drop that for you
okay,
anyway.
awesome. And there should be a link to the application there. And then their timeline and everything would be on their website, I believe. But yes, you can apply for the honors program if you're interested, and we encourage you to do so. There is a GPA requirement, so do your best once you get here to stay in the honors program.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was answering a question on the chat.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Any,
Sorry, some more honors questions.
oh, that's
What
okay.
is the honors program and what are the benefits?
I can put the honors. Oh, I think George, you already put the honors
I did put the link there.
website in there. They have a lot of information on their website. There's different types of honors programs on our campus. There's the university honors. Some departments even have their own honors program within that major. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. So the one that George put in the chat is the university honors program. But like I said, some departments also have their own honors program as well.
And then I think one more very general question is when do we receive college transcripts or how? Or where would we send the transcripts? So I think this is maybe a couple of questions. So I think we might break it into two parts just to make sure we're answering it. So when do we receive college transcripts? And how or where do we send our transcripts?
Gina, would you like to take that?
In terms of once you complete your classes from your community college or what have you, you'll want to send official transcripts directly to enrollment services admissions, because we will need to directly have those to then be able to properly, record that into your student record. Let me look. I can give you a link to our website that gives exact information on how to do it electronically or by mail. So I'll put that in the chat. Just a sec.
Thank you. And that's what I'm seeing for now, Rachel.
Great. I do want to make sure that we stay on topic. I know people have so many questions about orientation, what it entails, maybe about the honors program. Like Vanessa mentioned, a lot of our departments take a lot of time and effort and pride in building out all the information on their website. So I want to encourage you to um, navigate over to our websites to check out those different resources. If you have questions about orientation, I encourage you to call our office. Obviously, visiting our website is great, but by calling our office at 562-985-5515, we can answer your questions immediately. Our team of student relations specialists are amazing and they are happy to answer any orientation related questions that you may have or provide you with resources that you might be looking for. I know a lot of folks on here want to know if I'm going to include all of these links and making sure that they're not missing any of the resources that are talked about today. So I just want to ensure folks that I will include as many links as possible tomorrow when I send out the recording of this session. So if you're on here today and you got this Zoom link, that means you will also receive the recording as well as any links that are go out there. So I think because we have kind of veered off from dual enrollment, I'm going to start to wrap this up. I will answer one last question about SOAR. Seema wants to know, can someone please clarify if SOAR orientation is the same day for first year students and we need to register for that one day? No. If SOAR takes place from June 10th to July 12th, we offer gosh, I think 35 different dates for SOAR. And it is all based on the college that your student is in. So, for example, if you are a marketing major and you fall into the College of Business, you will come on a day that the College of Business is partnered with orientation and seeing students that day, which is almost every day. But for example, if you are the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics or the College of Engineering, they won't begin to see students until January. Oh my gosh, just kidding. July 29th. Just because of the ALEX, of all the placement scores, the AP scores, it's really important to stay on track in the STEM majors. So it's important for folks to really get placed in the right place. So what they don't want to have to happen is you come in June and then they have to move your whole schedule because of a score that came in. So they don't see folks until July 29th. So when you log into your SSO to register for orientation, you will only see dates that are available to you specifically. The university system understands who you are, and what your declared pre-major is, and what college you fall under, and it will only show you those dates. If you call our office to the same number to pick a SOAR date, same thing. We can look up who you are, find out what college you're in, and we will only offer you dates that match with your college. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Um, so, just in terms of wrapping this up today, I do want to say thank you one more time to our academic affairs, academic advising, admissions. We had a lot of folks really partner on this presentation. I want to give a huge shout out to Colleen Maldonado. She was really the brainchild behind this presentation and bringing you all this information. Um, and we are very excited to see you this summer. Hopefully, this was helpful. Got lots of your questions answered today. Um, and just to answer the last two questions, yes, this recording will be available. I will both share it tomorrow and it will be on our YouTube channel shortly thereafter. So just so you know, this is our YouTube channel, and the you can Google it fairly easily, and then we will also send a link to it because also on this YouTube channel, we will have our prior sessions from this virtual information session series that were hosted by admissions, housing, and financial aid, respectively, on the prior 3 Wednesdays. So really appreciate you all being here with us today. We cannot wait to see you this summer. We're going to see about 99% of you in person. We're excited to see you. We're excited to have you as part of the Beach family. And thank you for being here. Take
All
care and
right,
have a great day.
go beach, everybody.
Go Beach.
Go Beach.